What I sing about is far, far too simple for the mind to grasp. You will never get this. No one does. And yet, if it happens, you will know it for sure. There will be no doubt and no place for it to arise. It cannot be thought into, and once it happens, this profound shift in perspective, it cannot be thought out of. For what this shift is a knowing always that thought, words, ideas, concepts have never actually divided what's going on. This rushing, roaring, streaming, indivisible symphony of perception that's naturally occurring. What we call sight and sound and touch and taste and feeling and sensation is all just happening all at once. And only when it's described does it seem like maybe there is a sensation or a feeling or a thought. But really, there are no separate thoughts, there are no separate feelings, there are no separate sensations. And as this is all happening all at once, until your attention is put on one thing when it's described, when the story is written, then it seems like, oh, my feet are moving. I can feel them on the pavement. So, actually, there's a lot of sensation going on all the time, isn't there? And it's like a background, always happening. Only when attention is placed on something does it seem like there's separate things or that there's someone doing something. Because as the story writes itself, as your brain describes it with shared learned words, then you can say, oh, I am walking on this path. Oh, look, there are mountains. Oh my, two beautiful people just passed me. And that is the most wonderful story the brain paints, a passion play of you and me and love and beauty and wonder. And that is perfectly natural and wonderful. So why does it feel like thought is so real? Because when the brain paints this picture, creating concepts, that is the only world the brain can know. As conceptual beings, we can only really know mountains and sky, and trees, and you and me. So how does the brain see through this charade that it is creating? No one knows how this happened, but it is most usually preceded by a personal Armageddon. For it's not just simply relaxing in a meditative state and then falling into a continual state of meditation. Hi. And it's not done with thinking about it or trying to get it. For everything that you feel that you are doing or trying not to do to get this only perpetuates the illusion that there's a separate you and something to get, when, as I said, you can never get this. No one does. But just the wind on my face. How could I be separate from the feeling of the wind, the sound of the wind or the river? How could you be separate from sound? I'm seeing all of these things, but I'm not separate from that perception. Am I? Are you separate from what you're seeing or hearing or tasting or feeling or thinking? Or is it just the dream of separation painted by the brain that makes it seem like there is a perceiver and something perceived, like there's an observer and something observed? So truly, most of the time, without you noticing it, life really does do itself. You don't think of what thoughts you're going to have. You don't plan your feelings. If you're sitting at the table at dinner and you get thirsty, your hand just reaches for the glass and you get a drink. So much of it is happening without thought planning it. In fact, thought is actually just describing what's already going on. It happens actually a little bit after. So this magnificent passion play, this sea of dreams, creates separate colors, rainbows, clouds, all of these things. And when believed in, it makes you feel like you're separate from all of these things. And it hurts because somehow it doesn't feel right. So the self is just a streaming thought dream. And it has no solidity. There's really nothing on all the time. And some people may say, well, there's awareness and that's all on all the time. So I am awareness. But there is never ever awareness without the perceived. There is never the silent witness. There is always what I can describe as the two together, but really there are no two and there is no one or none. So it's this indivisible symphony of perception and the simultaneous inseparable recognition of it. And when thought describes it, then suddenly it seems like all these different things appear. But it never has separated you from what's going on. You are just the imaginary center of a swirling dream of separation.